Hey guys, insight number 2 here. We're in Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20 to 21. So the end of the Gospels, the last chapters that you've got to read basically of the Gospels. And I'm not covering everything in those because there's a lot, and it's all very, again, similar across the Gospels, but you need those 4 different accounts for various reasons. One, just to get a better picture, like you get all those images to make that 3D image, like if you can take a whole lot of two-dimensional photos, you put them together, creates a 3D image. It's pretty cool. So you need that more than that one account. And so grateful that we have that, right? But we're going to go over to 20. John 20, John 20, 19 to 29. And this is again about having experiences with Christ is what I'm focusing on this week. And just some of the things that have come up and how they work for people. Like, I'm not going to that immediate what would be highlighted this week, which is, of course, Jesus' resurrection and the him not being in his grave and Mary running to tell him, and it's all good. That is great to study, and if you're not familiar with that, please go study it. I just sort of wanted to I felt more to focus on people's interactions and knowing Christ, because if you're going to follow him, you got to get to know him, and how, like, he was unexpected before, way more unexpected now, because he's got that ability to be. So, like, again, really challenge that way that he's turning up in your life. If you think, I haven't seen him, I haven't heard him, challenge that thinking, because you probably have and just not recognized it. So yeah, chapter 20, 19 through 29, we're going to look at that. But there's some great stuff here. Actually, John probably gives, because he was there, John probably gives one of the best accounts of that resurrection day, where Mary goes to the sepulchre, finds that the stone's rolling away, runs to tell Simon and John, who wrote this, and they ran, like they did a foot race to get back there. And John even puts in verse 4 kind of like, and I beat Peter, haha, like in a nice friendly sort of like, I beat you there, because they did, and he did. He ran faster, and like Peter's this courageous, like, I will do anything for you, I will, like, die for you kind of guy, and John's like, and I beat you in a foot race. So you can see that they're having a bit of fun there, and there's some, like, good friendship in there to add that in. I think it's really lovely. But that he wasn't there, John believes straight away, because he knows, this is the thing, he knows Christ. He sees that the clothes that they had wrapped Christ in are there, yet Christ is not, and that's when John believes, and that's in verse 7. And then comes the other disciple. There comes Peter on verse 8, and he saw and believed. So it's so beautiful. I've got that back to front. Yeah, they both came in. But anyway, they both came in and they both believed straight away, knowing that was like that. But Mary stood outside weeping and has that experience with Christ. And I, again, as I said in the first one, I always put myself in her place and how I would have felt and how amazing that would be. And I hope one day to be able to have those kind of experiences with Christ, and that many times we probably don't recognize him, but I want that, I desire that. So be really cool. I have plenty of experiences with Christ, just not quite seeing him right in front of me. That was very, very special, and what a faithful woman to be able to be in that place, and be like that. That's something to aim for. So 19 through 29, though, talks about, so the same day at evening, on the first day of that week, so the Monday, first day of that week, we believe to be a Monday, the doors were shut. They were assembled for fear of the Jews, because the Jews is now hunting them. So they stood in the midst, and Jesus came and stood with them and said, "Peace be unto you." And when he'd said so, they showed him his hands and his side. He showed them hands and side, and they saw that this was the Lord. So this is now appearing to the rest of them, not the two on the road to Emmaus, and Thomas wasn't there either. So, what's going on there? What was Thomas doing? Maybe out getting dinner. Maybe he was out picking up the fish and chips or the KFC or whatever. And maybe he was on a pizza run. Who knows? Thomas wasn't there. That's important to know, because that comes out later. And Jesus said unto them, "Peace I give unto you," and yeah, that whole point. But Thomas, having missed that encounter, verses 24 through 29, you read about, then goes on to say, look, I really love you guys, but I need to see this. like, and people call him Doubting Thomas. And it's like, well, he's not doubting. He's just saying, look, I want this experience myself. I want this, he's just being honest. Maybe he was like autistic and he was just being straight out. Like, he was very black and white. I got black and white on. This is Thomas for you. He's just like, no, I like you, but, and I do trust you guys, but I really want to see this for myself. And this is what a lot of people feel when they come to encountering the gospel. It's like, I really respect you, but I need more. I need that experience to really solidify to me that this is, like, what I'm supposed to do, or to continue in this. And fair enough for them. They want that experience. They're not literally asking for Christ. They're not asking for signs. They're asking for experience. And a lot of times it can come across as signs, like asking for signs. It's not. No, he didn't say a sign like, oh, I demand a sign to believe it. No. Because people who do that don't believe them anyway. When they happen, they write them off to something else. He was literally saying, I need that experience. So, it says they call him Didymus, and that just means twin. So he may have been a twin. Oh, that might have been his name. Don't know, but yeah. And the other disciples said, look, we've seen him. And he's like, yeah, but, okay. So, 26, after 8 days, again his disciples were within. So the whole week's gone by, they've gone and done stuff, and they've gathered back together. Probably hiding out from the Jews who are hunting them down. What are we going to do next? How are we going to survive this? So they, like, instead of being conspicuously all together, gone out, now they're all gathered back in. So basically they're having their weekly presidency meeting. Makes sense. This time Thomas is there. So for whatever reason he was late to the other one, couldn't make it. Now he's there. And the door shut again, and then came Jesus. And I just love that line, then came Jesus. It's 3 little words in the middle of 26, because often you feel that in life, right? Like the whole thing is falling apart, and then came Jesus. There he is. It's fantastic. And he says, peace be unto you. And he said to Thomas, look, check out the evidence. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my God. And 29, I've highlighted the whole thing because I just love this so much. Jesus saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. So he's not scolding him. He's just saying, have faith. Have that faith. Know me. Like, do you recognize me? You should have recognized me. You should have believed that they had seen me. That would have been better for you. Like we said earlier in that chapter, you see both John and Peter believed just because Jesus wasn't there. And they're like, oh, we know what's happened. That's really awesome. So it's just that experience. So having missed the encounter with Christ, Thomas proclaimed he needed and desired his own experience, thus earning him the phrase doubting. No, it doesn't actually say this here though, does it? Nobody actually calls him Doubting Thomas other than people who have coined that from the scripture. Maybe Honest Thomas, maybe, would like my own experience Thomas, maybe think outside the box kind of Thomas. Like, it's just, he's not in that place that John and Peter were. He's still growing. Growing Thomas, there's another word for it. But let's lose the doubting, because that's really not cool. Because he wasn't doubting Christ at all. He was just like, I need my experience with this. This is testimony and conversion through experience. So as many of us know, we can hear all the wonderful experiences of others, but we need our own testimony building experiences and conversion experiences. That's why Jesus meets us where we are. We are not doubting. We're learning just like we are. Like he was learning, rather like we are. Learning Thomas. I think I'm going to call him Learning Thomas. So have faith and know that it will grow. Testimony and conversion through experience. And this is another random experience with Christ that Christ doesn't call random, but to us it's unexpected. And it's just another way to point out, actually, Christ will meet us where we are. For John and Peter, he didn't need to appear to them because they knew. And they saw him later anyway, many times over. Learning Thomas. We're going to call him Learning Thomas. He was still getting to that place of testimony. And it's still growing in him, and I'm sure it grew. And he did marvelous works after that. But a lot of people ask for that, not so much a sign, but just that I need that experience. Like, you're all talking about it, and I love that you're telling me, but I need to experience it. And that is so true of us now too. You can have all these experiences like paying tithing. We need to experience it. All right. just gone over the 10, so that's going to be trouble posting to Instagram. Might need to cut some, but there we go. That was insight number 2. Sorry I talk so much. Just, I love this part of Scripture so much. I love the Gospels. The rest of the New Testament is fantastic. Do not get me wrong. I love that too. I love Paul's writing. The letters and everything is fantastic. I just really love the we were there with Christ chapters. That really just, because again, I want that. So yeah, there you go. All right. Hang around. We're going to flick on to John 21 and I'll see you there.